Ah, shit. Get your tea and your popcorn because we have hit yet another psychological jackpot. Tyla, Miss Flop, the one that they were saying was a flop 6 months ago. By the way, I'm going to show screenshots of all the creators that tried to talk shit about Tyla, all the creators that said Tyla's career was declining. Oh, you do know that she won another Grammy, right? And now we've got people complaining saying, oh, well, they should have different categories for all the different types of African music. It's not fair. You shouldn't put Tyla in the same category as Area Star or Thames or other African artists. That's not fair. You need to create a bigger variety of categories. Oh, were you mad that the other artists couldn't compete with Tyla? I thought that Tyla was mid. I thought that Tyla wasn't talented. I thought that she doesn't have an audience and that no one supports her. So why is it that Tyla's songs still ended up being hits? She is not a one-hit wonder, clearly. And all of those creators that were talking shit about her over the last 6 months, I haven't seen not one person come out and take back what they said about Tyla. Not one. And I saw that there were a lot of creators who were like, oh, that's Tyla's karma. That's why her album sales are going to be low and nobody's going to support her. It's because she said she was colored and not black. It's because she didn't call herself black. And it's like, okay, so you're saying on the one hand that women with Tyla's phenotype erase dark-skinned black women. But now you're saying you're mad because she didn't want to represent dark-skinned black women. Which one is it? Do you want the Exoticals to represent blackness or not? So this is just another example of them throwing us in and out of blackness. They did the same thing with Tyla, and they got mad because Tyla actually doesn't give a fuck about being called uppity. Tyla has embraced that. She has embraced being called uppity. She has made songs singing about being a pretty girl from Joburg and being a preference. And all of these people in Black YouTube were waiting for her demise. They were waiting for her failure. They were predicting her failure on their YouTube channels. And what's that I hear? Oh, that's right, silence. Because all these creators have nothing to say. They literally ate their own words. So this is proof that if people in the Black community predict that you're going to flop, it's pretty much a sign that you're actually going to be successful. It's a sign that you're going to be successful because people don't go out of their way to tear somebody down unless that person is going to be more successful than them. A lot of people, they have a crabs in a bucket mentality. Have you ever noticed that in the Black community, you've got all these people that want to pretend like they're experts on the music industry. You've got all these people who have never won a Grammy in their lives. They've never created an album themselves. Can't sing for shit. Can't dance. Can't do shit except sit in their dusty apartments. Talking about Tyla, who is literally she's literally like in her 20s. Imagine being in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and hating on a young 20-something who doesn't even know who you are. She's just trying to make music. And you're over here trying to predict that her career is going to flop, and you look like an idiot because now she has won her second Grammy. So she is now a multiple Grammy Award winning artist. Most of the people creating videos talking shit about Tyla will never have the level of achievement that she has had in her 20s. And I've noticed that for a lot of people who are professional haters, when they can't make it in the industry, like they couldn't make it in terms of music. Do you know how many dark-skinned Black women have talked about how people are better singers? Tyla can't sing, Beyonce can't sing, all these other women are better and more talented. Do you know how many people from the Black community would have loved to be in Tyla's place? Do you know how many people would have loved to be a pop star in their 20s, but they didn't? So you've got all these has-beens. You got all these people who couldn't swing it. They don't have the pretty privilege. They don't have the talent. They don't have the musical gift. And so instead of admitting that Tyla is actually good at what she does, no, they'd rather make videos talking about how she's a flop. And then they try to say, oh, it was because her records didn't sell within the first week. Okay, well, clearly we have figured out that your record sales don't have to be the highest in order for you to succeed. And people are like, oh, well, the only reason that she's popular is because she has less competition in the African music space. Oh, so are you admitting that dark-skinned Black African women can't compete with Tyla? Do you see the hypocrisy there? Do you see how they always end up dissing themselves? Whenever they try to diss an exotical, they always end up dissing the unambiguous community. Oh, well, Tyla doesn't have any real competition. Oh, okay, so you're basically saying Thames ain't shit. Arya Starr ain't shit. And then I saw some people were like, oh, well, the Grammy Awards aren't based on numbers. Okay, so then you can't call Tyla a flop based on numbers then, just like I said. So you're still proving my point that somebody's numbers of how much they sell within the first week, that's not predictive of the rest of their life. It doesn't mean that the rest of their career is a flop. And I've noticed a lot of jealous people, they want to see pretty women fail. But they don't realize that even Tyla's failure is still more successful than they'll ever be. That's why they're making YouTube videos talking about, oh, well, this is her karma because she didn't want to call herself black. She called herself colored. Everybody doesn't identify with the same terms that we use in the United States. So because she didn't bow down and worship black people, so because Tyla's not scared of black people, she's a flop. And I've noticed this pattern where a lot of celebrities actually do allow the black community to bully them. I have noticed that most people on this earth are scared of black people. That's what I've noticed. You've got white people who are scared of black people. You got police who are scared of black people. That's why they pull out weapons on black men. You've got black women scared of black men. And then you've got all ethnicities and all types of non-black women and mixed women who are also scared of black people. So whenever you see somebody who is not unambiguously black and they're not scared of what black people think, that's when you start getting people labeling them as colorist, texturist, featurist. They'll say she has a stank attitude, like what they're saying with Tyla, like she's uppity. And I've also noticed that a lot of people, they love to put multiracial women on a hierarchy. So like even in terms of Tyla, they're like, oh, well, she's not number one on the charts. Why are they suddenly so obsessed with the charts? You have not checked the charts. Like, when was the last time that you actually went on Google and checked the top Billboard 100? When was the last time you went on your phone and checked, like, what's the number one song? So I find it interesting how when it comes to Tyla, suddenly people want to bring up all these other metrics. Oh, well, she didn't get number one on the chart. Oh, well, she sold exactly 3,000 albums within the first week. So suddenly you want to become a numbers genius. Suddenly you want to become a numbers whiz. And you want to try to move the goalpost for what success is because it's Tyla. And this proves my point that a lot of people will put you, they'll set you to a higher standard when you are above them. If they view you as being above them, they're going to raise the goalpost. They're going to move the goalpost. They're going to hold you to a much higher standard than they would with other people. Because if charts are what determines who's successful or not, then where does that place Normani? How many songs of Normani's have been on the charts in the past year? How many Kelly Rowland songs have been on the charts in the past year? If charts are what makes you a success or a failure, and if Tyla is a flop, if winning several Grammys makes you a flop, then what does that make Normani? And I'm even seeing people commenting saying that Tyla was sleeping with different managers and basically that she slept her way to the top. That's the only way that she became an international pop star. And has anyone else noticed that everybody is obsessed with our vaginas? If you're a pretty girl, if you are put on a pedestal, everybody's obsessed with who you're sleeping with. They will create entire theories on who you slept with. You know, they feel like, oh, you must have used your sexiness to get to the top. First of all, you don't realize you're actually complimenting Tyla. So you're telling me that Tyla's body is that powerful. And remember, Tyla is also skinny as well. She has no ass. She has no boobs. She's not thick. So I thought that body type is quote unquote ugly, or, you know, it looks like a child, or you look like a little boy. But now we've got women accusing Tyla of sleeping her way to the top. Okay, so she must have a very powerful body. I mean, you're telling me that she is that seductive. Her seduction powers. She's using her light-skinned, curly-haired seduction powers to become an international superstar. And then I saw some people saying that they're not going to support Tyla because they feel like it's anti-black to have a multiracial Indian-presenting woman representing South Africa. And it's like, okay, have you ever noticed that if you're not pro-black, you're anti-black? Those are the only two options. So if you're not Afrocentric, if all the music you listen to isn't black, if your beauty standard is not Afrocentric, you're automatically anti-black. And it's like, okay, even if Tyla is phenotypically Indian presenting, or she looks more Indian, what's wrong with Indian women having representation? Why is it that if somebody looks Indian, that's a problem? So you have a problem with the Indian phenotype? You have a problem with Indian women getting shine? You have a problem with Indian women being seen as beautiful? Do you see what I mean? It's like this mindset of, oh, only the darkest, blackest person can be a standard of beauty. Otherwise, it's anti-black. So if you have an Indian phenotype, or if you're promoting Indian beauty, you're anti-black. Thinking that Indian features are beautiful, oh, that's anti-black. And then I also saw people saying that it's not fair that Tyla and Trevor Noah are the main South Africans who get attention in the United States. And it's like, ma'am, nobody is stopping black South Africans from creating their own platforms. Nobody is stopping dark-skinned black Africans from promoting their own phenotype. Who do you think made Tyla famous? Who do you think made Trevor Noah famous? Who's talking about them the most? What community? And then they're like, oh, well, there are a lot of dark-skinned black African artists who don't get recognition. Okay, so it's a competition for who gets recognized then. It's a competition for clout. So you're basically admitting, hey, I'm mad at you because you have more fame than me. I'm mad at you because you have more clout. You need to give me fame and recognition in order to prove that you're not anti-black. You need to give me a record deal and give me some Grammys in order to prove that you're pro-black. And I also saw a few posts where people were accusing Tyla of copying Arya Starr. And it's like, okay, Tyla and Arya Starr are friends. So you're mad that she's inspired by a dark-skinned black woman? I thought that you're the blueprint, right? If you're darker, the darker you are and the more black you are, the more of a blueprint you are, right? So why are you mad that Tyla is inspired by the blueprint? Unambiguous black women are the blueprint and exoticals are the standard. Why is that a problem? You're the one who set that up. You guys are the ones who brought up that phrasing. Oh, well, we're the blueprint. We're the first to do it. Okay, so then why are you mad that Arya Starr did something first and then Tyla did it second? Isn't that how it always is? But what do you ladies think? Is Tyla a flop? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.